Hello everyone, today we're going to go through and focus on creating really powerful pals for the sake of progressing in Palworld. Now at this point in time, we currently are set up to go through and take on Axel and Orserk. Now to prepare for that, we've gone through and done a couple of different things. First of all, in our party, we do have an herbal at this point. This herbal has been condensed up to level 2, so if we do die for whatever reason, this is going to be a defensive capability. We will get revived, that way the fight won't be completely over. Then we're going to use Anubis during the fight. I explained this in the last episode. Basically, it's a ground type, it's strong against Orserk, and its special ability makes might attacks actually deal ground damage, which is going to be the most ideal pal to use. Then we've got Dumon, that's going to increase the attack of all ground pals, so for this case, both of these are going to boost Anubis' stats. Now we're also going to swap out Ragnarok once we unlock the fast travel point on the Volcano, and we're going to swap that out for a Gobfin, and that Gobfin does happen to have Vanguard, and it is condensed to level 2. These are condensed to level 1. Anubis has also been condensed to level 2. And then lastly, one more thing that we're going to go through and do for him is we're actually going to head, oh, it's just right up here. The base is in shambles. We'll have to fix that a little bit later. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through and enhance pals, and we do have quite a few souls. So we're just going to focus primarily just on attack. And that's going to be the last one there. So we've got 36% increase in attack. Also, as I was breeding these up in between episodes, there's about 30 minutes of downtime. I hatched them, and as you can see, not only did it already have Demon God, which was passed down from the Grisbolt, but it happened to also roll with Ferocious, meaning due to its passive skills, it got plus 50% increased attack. So I'm honestly feeling really good about the damage here. I'm just more worried about me personally dying in my defense, but there is that, so he is pretty stacked. We can also go through and increase his health too, just utilizing the basic souls, and we'll do the same thing here for defense, just to make sure he's safe. Work speed I'm not really worried about, so that'll definitely make sure he is pretty a lot tankier and does quite a bit of damage. Then in terms of my kind of survivability, I did go through and I built this here, which is going to be the production assembly line level 2. As you can see, it's kind of a hot mess. I have to actually increase the size of the base to make it all fit. But I went through and I built that because it actually allowed us to craft the Pal metal armor. As you can see, 220, and this one is 180. Pretty large difference there. And then additionally, we did also unlock the Pal metal helm. And then we are also going to be utilizing the ground whistle. We're going to put this here once we get up to the volcano here. For the time being, we'll probably just make sure we have armor on to survive the heat. Then we'll swap all these things out. I did also customize, or build the, not customize, craft. That's the word I'm looking for. The new glider here as well. Not going to help us in combat, but just kind of upkeeping everything. And then I did craft the hyper shield now as well. And this one's got 1045, and as you can see, the previous one we had 540, which is going to be a massive difference, since the shield actually allows you to go through and regenerate that over time. So that's going to be a huge help here. Overall, I think we are pretty stacked here for the fight. The only thing we do not have is food, as it is still cooking in here. I do have one piece of food that I'm going to feed Anubis. And then we are also going to go over here, and we're going to grab a weapon just out of here. We're going to get the, let's see, what is it here? The boost gun. And we're going to shoot that at Anubis once he's actually out, and that will also boost his attack. I think we are all set though, so let me just go through and get our heat-resistant armor, and then we've got to actually discover the area first, but we're going to fast travel over here, and then we're going to start to head up. Alright, now I have arrived here at the volcano. We just teleported over to the foot of the volcano area, and there's going to be quite a few of these higher level fire pals that I do not have, and I just crafted a bunch of hyperspheres, so we should be able to get them here. Hopefully, yeah, it should only take a couple of shots. We do have the level 2 compound bow, which is pretty powerful here. We'll go through and get a hypersphere off on this one, and then we should be able to get this one as well. I don't believe we have 12 Wixen. I guess we'll find out right now. And it looks like we got that one there. And no, we do not have 12. Okay, perfect. So yeah, we're going to try and gather some experience here on the way up. Not just for us, but also for our pals. I did go through and use every single experience book that we have on Anubis, who's level 43 at this point in time. But Herbal and the Dumon are not very powerful. They're not going to really be out, hopefully. Hopefully, basically, Anubis just does everything and doesn't die. If he does die, this whole plan might fail, and we might have to kind of rethink our strategy. As I mentioned before, previously, a couple episodes back, this is one of the most challenging fights, kind of as you get to it. It is a huge jump in difficulty in compared to the Lily and Lylene fight, so it typically catches a lot of players off guard. We tried to prepare for it though, and I do feel like we've prepared pretty well, but it is definitely possible we do miss. You know what? Would you look at that? That is literally what we needed. 2 pieces of food that give us increased attack for both myself and Anubis. I had one back at the base that was in the guild chest, but now that we got 2 more, that means we actually have food for both of us. So that is definitely a huge win there. Alright, well I'm going to go through and capture some more pals, and then I guess we'll keep heading on up. Okay, so I just unlocked a red chest, and I got the old revolver schematic level 3. That's actually pretty cool. I have never used that before, so we will definitely be checking that out. Once we finish up the boss, we'll go through and craft it and just see what it does. It literally was just like 20 feet from where I last saw you, so yeah, that's pretty exciting. I did notice back at base as well, instead of waiting for the meteorite drops, we actually have a lot of different lotuses that we can use to craft the player boosting stats for ourselves, where we can increase both our health and our attack probably by quite a bit. The only thing that we're actually missing for that is going to be the raw food, so I believe I saw Kelpsy and Mozzarina, which are both very easy to go through and just get raw versions of their food. They're pretty low level. We can go through and kill them, and we'll drop it when they kill them, and we can butcher them for more as well if we want to capture them instead. So we might go through and do that as well, focusing on increasing our attack and our health. We potentially could have done that before this fight, but I don't want to over-prepare. I kind of just want to, do everything in normal and not make it like super easy. I still want it to be a challenge, and hopefully it's a manageable one. Alright, we have made it to the top here, and there is one more red chest. We're going to go through and grab that before we start the fight, and then there is also the fast travel point over there, so we're going to unlock that. We'll head back to base, and we'll go through and grab the Godfin here. Wow, that is 3 schematics out of 3 red chests. Very nice. We're going to get the Godfin. We'll swap Godfin out for Ragnarok, and then we'll come on back, and it's time for the boss fight. Alright, we are back over here at the tower here, and there's an effigy. That's pretty nice. We do need that. Now we're going to go through and just get all set up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and use this. We'll feed this to Anubis. We'll feed this to ourselves here. And then I'm going to very quickly put this on in place of this. And then we'll go through and put this on in place of that, and we're hot, so it is time to go. Alright, so here it is. Let's see how we manage here. I'm honestly worried. Orserk is a very, very aggressive pal. Oh, go aggressive, buddy. Go kill him, please. That is your job. Let's see how much damage that does. He did not hit anything. Okay. Well, I did 1,000. That's a lot of damage, actually. Yeah, we're doing a lot. 1,300. He did 1,800 with that. I'm curious to see... I want to see how much his slam does when he actually gets it off here. I should probably keep the grapple out as well, because if he stuns me, I might be in a bit of trouble. 4,700 is a lot of damage. Wow. Oh, that's going to hit. Oh, that keeps... Oh, wow. Look at his health. That is an insane amount of damage. I'm pretty certain we are good to go. As long as we don't get hit, we should be fine. Anubis is going to carry us for sure. We definitely prepared well. That is the one move we have to look out for, is that move right there. That will stun us. And if we get stunned, we could be in a bit of a pickle. So we're just going to use this. Oh, I think that's going to... Oh, I'm stuck on a wall. Oh, get out of there. Okay. Wow, his health is at half. We actually might beat him faster than we beat Lily and Lylene. I said it was challenging, but I'm kind of making it look easy. I think we just prepared really, really well. It's kind of why you focus on condensing, though, and all the extra buffs. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to use. We didn't even use the boost gun. Maybe we'll toss him out right here, and we'll shoot Anubis. Here, buddy. Go get some stuff done. 2,100. He is taking a lot of damage, but yeah, that's like 6,000 damage. That is a lot. We did lose our shield, so we do have to be a little careful. And Anubis is getting kind of low, but I think this is it. I think we just made that look pretty easy. Under 2 minutes. Okay. I am really happy with that. Yeah, 5 more anti-technology points. That is a huge win for us. Alright, so we unlocked the fast travel point. We're probably going to be burning hot, so let's just check this back on here. I'm surprised. That went exceptionally well. I am really happy with how that turned out. So we were 100% prepared, which makes me happy that we didn't do all that for nothing. I was a little worried, not gonna lie, but yeah, that went very, very well. So I think I'm gonna go through, capture these guys here real quick, because I don't have 12 of them, and then we'll head back to the base, and we've got quite a few things to do. Since we are actually in a point where apparently we are far more powerful than I realized, I was just worried because the Predator Pal in the last episode kind of demolished us, but apparently those huge defensive upgrades and offensive upgrades and condensing definitely paid off. So yeah, I'm going to go through and capture these, and we've got quite a bit of stuff to do back at the base afterwards. Alright, so at this point in time, I actually went through and I left base, and I realized the main thing at this point we really need to focus on is leveling, as we're going to start falling behind. I mentioned in the last episode, levels will certainly be a grind. So the thought process here is, a lot of these alpha pals typically are just alphas, and it's rare you actually find different variants of them that are not alphas. So we're going to try and capture a bunch of the alphas that we do not have 12 of, but we're also going to revisit the Sanctuary 1 and Sanctuary 2, which we have not actually been to yet. So we're going to try and capture them all, and then we'll actually butcher them all later as well. Potentially, it could give us better legendary drops or schematics for certain pals. And then on top of that, we will get Ancient Civilization parts. We'll increase our levels overall. And yeah, that's kind of just the thought process here. And then also while we're in this area, we're going to look for Kelpsy. As once we find some Kelpsies, we'll actually be able to craft more of those tonics, which I think should boost our health or our damage. But while we're at the bridge here, the Predator Pal did actually spawn in. I didn't even need to reset it, so we're going to go through and fight him. We'll just go through and throw Anubis out. I'm actually using the same party that I just did there on the boss. The only difference is that I put away Herbal here, and I pulled out Ragnarok just for traveling around the map here. If we are on the water, I'll probably swap Ragnarok out, or maybe one of the Dumond for a Serpent, because our Serpent is definitely great for getting us around the water. He's quite fast with that 40% movement speed bonus. But once we do go through and kill this Relaxaurus, we will get one more, I think, or possibly 2 Predator Cores, and that will allow us to build the medium bag. I mean, we can actually get even more storage as well, because there is a whole lot of items that we need to carry around. Alright, that was not too hard, much easier than the last time. And 1 Predator Core, okay. Now, I do believe there's also some pals in this grassy area that I do not have 12 of. I believe Floppy is one of them. Let's see here. No, where are you guys going? I hit a tree. Alright, we got that one off, and I do have the ring on here as well, so it should make it a little easier for us. I'm not sure how many that is. We'll try and capture it. Yeah, I need 4 more here. So if I can get 1 more shot off before it runs. Okay, that should be good. Hopefully it bounces. And then I don't know about Gale Claw. Gale Claw also might be one that I do not have 12 of. That's kind of far to aim here. Okay. I don't think we have Bristol either. Not 12 of them yet. Or Cinnamoth. So we do actually have quite a few pals in this area here that we need for experience. Hey, get back here. And there is that. Did he get out? He did not. So we need 3 more of those. Oh, there's those guys. Do we have 12 Jolt Hogs? I don't know. Jolt Hog is one of those weird ones that doesn't spawn very often. I don't think we have 12 Vixies either, to be honest. Cinnamoth, Jolt Hog, no. None of these pals we have 12 of. And we did go through and gain a level, so this is definitely effective here. Now, what we want to go through and do is head down here and look for the alpha right here. Alright, that should be pretty easy. We'll use the Gigasphere. Hopefully that catches. I think we do have 12 of these guys. Let me just double check. Did it get out? It did not. Yeah, we only have 4 of those, so that's definitely worth catching. And I think we'll find more of those over at Sanctuary 1. Let's try and capture the Kelpsy, though, because we definitely need these guys for the meat tier. And as long as we're not dropping it, yeah, we need the raw Kelpsy. And then we'll go through and get this. It says my pal team is hungry. Oh, I don't have any food on me. Don't know how that happened. We may have dropped some food off here at the base on accident. Let's go through and feed him some raw chicken. Or pork, or whatever this is. So we'll capture this, and then I think the same thing here for the Bronc Cherry. It'll make it easier to capture these lower level pals now, versus, oh, that's the last Malpaca we needed, perfect. Versus kind of some of the higher ones at the Volcano. So we can capture these all now, potentially find enough effigies to get 1 more level. It'll just make catching those other pals a lot easier. And got that one, we did also not have 12 of that, okay. So overall, this is, yeah, time definitely well spent. We definitely need these levels. If we want to progress, because a lot of the progression will be locked behind the technology tree here. We did just get that armor, for example, and that was critical in making sure we stayed alive. Alright, I'm on my way over to the Boucher Alpha Pal, which is pretty easy to go through and just take down by myself. And hopefully we'll capture him, and he is done. Alright, now we made our way over to the Bronc Cherry Aqua Alpha Pal, and we've gone through taking it down, and hopefully it gets in the sphere. Yes, it did. Alright, now we're at the Fanglope Alpha Pal. See if we can capture this guy. That may have been too low of a sphere. I'll take a look here. Yeah, I think he did get out. We'll give him a nice... good hypersphere. And what fell on the ground? A makeshift SMG schematic. Okay, we'll grab that. And hopefully he gets in. He did not want to get in. All right, give another shot here. Go for the dome. 76 seems pretty reasonable. Got quite a few schematics so far from just spawning around doing this. And none of these are schematics. We are good to go. Oh, he had Demon God, though. Did you see that? A Demon God catch. That's actually pretty good. Alright, so I just brought you back because I stumbled upon a Relaxaurus nest. I don't have 12 of these guys, so hopefully it doesn't kill them all. I'm going to try and capture as many as I can. They do a lot of damage, though, so I want to be kind of careful. Yeah, we'll let him go get some more damage down here real quick. Okay, let me see if I can get this one here. And we'll throw him back out. Yeah, I don't have 12 of these, so this actually is going to work out quite nicely. Your big body is in the way, sir. And that one down. I think I'm going to hit the wrong one here. We might be okay. There's just so many of them. We just have the alpha left. We might as well catch him so we can actually butcher him later. We will use Ragnarok, though. That'll make it a little faster. Probably could use Anubis, too, since Anubis does even more damage than he does. Let's just see. I just have him to swap between pals. Ragnarok, I can just get on him once the fight Oh my god. Okay. That was a lot of damage, I guess. That's what I asked for. Okay. I think it actually might be time. Let's head over to Relaxaurus Lux, and then we'll go through and we'll head back to the base here since our inventory is just full of junk. Alright, and we've got Relaxaurus down to just 1 HP, so we should be able to go through and potentially catch this guy. I just realized that Anubis does so much more damage. He was hitting this guy for like 1800. And there we go. Pretty easy catch. All right, let's head back to base. All right, now I have brought us back to the base here, and we're going to go through and start off at the second coal base and then work our way over to the main base because there's a lot to talk about. First of all, we need to go through and beat Axel and Orserk so we unlock the next level of the PAL Expedition Station. So as you can see here, it's really important. We can go through and actually primarily get medium PAL souls. We can also get Ultra Spheres as well. And then we can go through and get things like the Kelpie meat and the Capricorn meat, which we'll actually need to build those potions I was talking about a little bit earlier on. Alright, and we are at the main base, and as you can see, it is drastically different. It's actually been 7 hours of real-life gameplay since we went through and fought Axel and Orserk and caught all those pals immediately afterwards. Because I primarily was just working on the base. Don't ask me why, I just had this urge to want to go through and redo everything. Because there was a bunch of upgrades that we just did not have room for. So I'm going to go through and we're going to spend a good amount of time kind of walking through the base because there's a lot to talk about. First of all, you're probably wondering, what the heck is this? And I found out that if you go to place a foundation to the left or to the right of stairs, if it is on a flat surface, it will let you place it into the ground versus being like this, where it is kind of sticking out and level with it. It will let you actually place it down into the ground like so. Now, as you can see, here's the one I originally placed, and then I went through and I filled all this in, and then I broke this one to be able to go through and place this down here. But I did that for all of the PAL beds, and I think it looks really clean, very organized, very grid-like as well. Basically, it will keep the terrain in the center, so in this case, that happens to be grass and dirt, but if you were somewhere else, kind of the same concept. So we got all of that going on here for us, and then I did the same thing over there. Now you notice the breeding stations, we've got the 2 little spas on this side, and then the breeding stations over here, and I filled this area with the incubators. Just to save on space, I had originally, I think it was 5, upgraded to 7 earlier on, and I think there's like 10 or 12 in here. And that makes it really easy, and it just makes sense. You pick up the egg and you immediately place them in here. There's no need to run around, run back and forth. It just goes in here, and then it goes straight to there. Very simple. And then also, pals can walk through the breeding area, as can the player, and the same thing with the ranch. So I placed them here because technically they do not impede the pals from getting to their beds or the sunhouse. I have this huge open area and they can just walk through these. So they're actually best placed in open areas because pals can actually walk directly through them, whereas they cannot walk through foundations, for example. Now up top here, I've gone through and basically it's very simple. I didn't do anything elegant. I've got all of the highest tier conveyor belts. This one's going to be the weapon assembly line level 2. This one's going to be the production line level 2. And then this is the sphere level 2. And very easy for a handiwork pal to just go through and get up here and craft what I need. And then over here, I actually went through and created the coal mining station, meaning the coal base that we were just at technically no longer needs to be a base. Because after we defeated Axel and Orserk, we unlocked this in the actual technology tree here under the ancient technology. As you can see, we went through and unlocked it here. Now I used that same technique that I used over there for the beds to actually go through here and create a really cool looking workstation. And obviously I decked it out with cosmetic stuff as well, so it wasn't just bland, but I've got the medical station here, the furnace, electricity, cooking station, and then the guild chest. And then up here, basically what I did is I had to place down these foundations here. I then snapped these to the back of them, which was really easy to do. And then once I did that, I actually was able to go through and fill in these foundations. I had to place the foundations afterwards, otherwise these items wouldn't snap, but everything up here is just cosmetic, or things like this that affect the mining speed, or like the accumulators. All this is just cosmetic stuff, and it kind of just looks cool. Now the guild chest is placed here, basically in the middle of the production. All the farming stuff is over there. Everything they're doing is getting placed in here. And then in here you can see we just have salads, and then just normal berries. I don't care if these expire, but I want all the other food here, things like the eggs, for example, or tomatoes or lettuce. I don't want those to expire. So they're going to place them in the guild chest so they never expire. And then, of course, all the production goods here and up there are also really close to the guild chest here. So it's very easy for every pal here to go through and just place stuff in this chest. Now, when it comes to the plants, just went with a very large open kind of plantation. I've got every single type of vegetable growing at this point. I basically lined them up and snapped them the best I could. Got a little bit of light sources here on the outside pillars as well. and then these skill fruit trees. Now you notice I left this section open. And I actually went through and I created these spikes, and that was from the schematic that you unlock from doing the enemy faction bases. We unlocked the wooden barricade. So when raids happen at this base here, they happen typically right over here, and they run down the center here. Now I've got a lot of wood in here, or I did, and so they were constantly lighting stuff on fire, and I hated that. But I still wanted the raids to happen. So now what happens is they run up to this, and they get stuck. They can't cross this. And so they've got to run all the way to the left or all the way to the right. They see the right, though, as being closer because that building is there. So they actually run all the way over to where that orchard's at. But before they're ever able to get over to there, all my pals have already come out of the base, and they will run through that same area. So they actually fight in front of the base and not in the base, meaning none of my stuff ever gets destroyed anymore. And then over here, I did post a picture of this on the Discord, but basically it is just a really kind of scenic fishing area overlooking the valley. Here's the other area where technically raids could get in, but yeah, they don't really come over here. They go to the other side here. But it looks really nice. I actually managed to just get a Pola Pup, I think is what it is, and then Penglet Lux here, which we didn't have yet, so that's pretty nice. Now, while I did all of this work, I constantly had these things running with pals in the base who would occasionally help, and then I just had my party pal out all the time. So there's always at least one pal working, and then at times there was two of them working. Kindling is up to like level 11. A lot of these are pretty high. So the eggs used to take 3 minutes. They're down to 2 minutes and 10 seconds now. So yeah, I've got a lot of points invested into this. I'm also constantly running the expedition station to get the manuscripts to actually be able to do this as well. Now, this is pretty similar to what it was before. I actually broke down some of the chests. These smaller chests here are for items that I will never have enough items to fill a larger chest. So there's not too many other items that give you money. And the same thing with, ammo. There's not too many I'm ever going to have at once. And then same thing for these clothing materials. And then for the design, I went pretty simple with just some stone walls, a window, and then I basically ran the grass along the window. And then I've got everything moved into here as well. Got the drafting table. We created the PAL surgery station, which we'll talk about in a future episode. And then I basically went through and upgraded all these chests to larger variants and then relabeled them and stuck to the same design here. Now, because of how many decorations are on the top here, it does get a little framey. I've actually had to delete quite a few decorations to even be able to make it semi-manageable. But I may also delete some more. But during the videos, I'll probably never bring you here into the base. Up here. Anyways, there's not really a reason to come up here. It's more cosmetic. But as you can see, we've actually got like a little desk area, the bathroom here, a little kind of piano, kind of cookery area. And then over here is just going to be our bed. So it looks really nice. Unfortunately, performance-wise, like I had vines all up and down all these pillars. But I had to delete all those. There's also a lot more lighting that I deleted as well, just because yeah, the performance was kind of weird. Now, I am breeding up the Splatterina here. As one of them, I actually managed to get the Fine Furs passive, and the other has Noble. So I'm trying to breed these two together, so I've actually got an 8% increase in all items that are sold to merchants, because we don't have a lot of gold. And that'll be very helpful for my ammunition, or things like electric organs later on, which we currently have 0 of because of all the lighting that I added to the base. So I'm trying to breed these two together. We also have a lot of other pals to breed together. But what I've noticed when it came to breeding is that this little fella, Chickipi, is a bottleneck. We're constantly running out of eggs. We do not have enough eggs for the cakes. As you can see, if we go to queue up some more, as you can see, the eggs is the reason we cannot craft any more than this. Everything else is fine. Eggs are the bottleneck here. I can make like a half a dozen at a time. So he's only 1 star. We've got to go through and catch a bunch of Chickipi, for sure. So I think that's where we're going to head, is go through and catch Chickipi. And then I want to head back over to the Sanctuary 1 area as well. Alright, now we have returned to the starting area here, and there will be Chickipi, but there's also going to be a bunch of nighttime pals, because it is dark out. Now, something I want to talk about, because somebody brought it up, actually, in the comment for my last video, and I totally spaced it. When you look at a pal, you can actually just hold the sphere over and it will tell you if you have 12 of 12. You don't actually need to wait for it to pop up. And I totally spaced that was a quality of life feature that they have added, so it is very helpful. It's been in the game for a long time. I think since one of like the initial first patches. So I totally spaced that, and yeah, it's very easy to just tell if you've got 12. So this one we don't have 12, so we could just go through and throw a sphere out, oops, and be able to capture that without any issue here. So we're going to mainly look for the Chickipis, and there's a couple just down here, which is perfect. I should be able to, I think I have the ring. We'll go through and place the ring on here, and then I should be able to just do one-shot them. I also built the old revolver for the schematic that we found on the Volcano, and so as you can see, that did 4,800. So let's try out the bow and see how much that does here. So the bow actually does more than the revolver, so it is still not worth using the revolver. The compound bow level 2 is just a better choice. which is okay. I wasn't expecting the revolver to be great. I just wanted to try it out because I've never used it before. I think here, how many did I say? So that was 10, that was 11. We need one more of these guys. And then that here is 12. Might as well just capture the ones that we don't have 12 of for the experience here. I think we do have the 12 of Kativa. We do. Now, let's see if there's any more Chickipi. We may have to come back when it's daytime, so there's a lot less nighttime pals here. Yeah, I'm not seeing too many more. I don't think we have Mamorist yet, or 12 of them. And then Cremis, we do have 12. So let's go through and get this Mamorist here. We'll use Ragnarok. It should be pretty easy to take out, and I do have high tier spheres. So last time we tried catching this guy, we did not have the high tier spheres. But this time we do, so it should be a lot easier here. And he's an alpha, so we can actually butcher him for rewards a little bit later on as well. And then he should drop the Mamorist meat, which is also an ingredient we want to hold on to for huge buffs later on. Alright, I think that should probably be enough. I don't want him to kill him here. Yeah, let's put him away. And then just, I think, 2 more shots here. There we are. Alright, so let's try and get, the Hypersphere is not huge. We'll use the Ultrasphere. And we've got all these Ultraspheres primarily just from running the expeditions passively, which have definitely helped out here. We'll be able to craft them in just a little bit once we get more of the actual metal here. And there we are. We've got this guy. I think that should be the first Mamorist. Yes, it is. Very nice. So we're going to head over then to the Sanctuary 1 area, which is going to be here, as there's quite a few pals that are typically considered alpha pals that we would not find really anywhere else in large quantities. So that's where we're going to go. Alright, now we have arrived over at the Sanctuary 1. As you can see, it is quite dark here. This area is always super dark, but I do see a Penking here. And I know for sure we do not have 12 of the Penking, as they are just an alpha pal, and this is pretty much one of the only places you can find them here, minus fishing. So we're going to try and capture this guy. That should land here. Perfect, 100% rate, or 99, so him getting out should not happen. And then we're going to head up here, and we need a lot of the beautiful flowers as well for the medicine. There's quite a few upgrades actually in the one of the little research areas that we do not have enough flowers for. So we're going to go through and do that. I should be able to land here, I think. And then we'll just go through and shoot all of these pals. As long as we don't run into the soldiers, we are good to go. And that is that guy. Easy enough. And then same thing for this. We do not have 12 of this one. I think we only have 4 or 5 here. And wait for that. Kind of far away, but I'm kind of keeping my distance as well. I don't want to run into the soldiers. We will keep an eye out for the chest as well, because we, yeah, I went through and actually spent all my technology points. I basically got no technology points because I spent them on all of the cosmetic decorations. The thing I told you not to do? Yeah, well, I did that because I got bored and I wanted the base to look kind of nice. So we did that. All right, we got a heat-resistant metal schematic. I think that pal got out. Yeah, let's shoot this one because it's a bit closer here. And we should get one more shot here. There we are. Hopefully we're not being chased. I see the flowers. Yeah, we need all the flowers that we could get here. We also need these to craft, I think it's some of the tonics as well. So we definitely want more of these. And then we will need this to actually craft some of the little plants that you put in the garden to make your gardening more effective as well. Alright, so I think I'm done for now on Sanctuary 1, but I managed to go through and catch 12 of the Azarobi, 12 of the Penking, 6 Eikthyr Terra, and then I did manage to find 1 more Petalia and 1 more Griswold. So overall, pretty good. We're about 48 and like a third. We just gained the level when we first got here too, so quite a bit of experience. I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'm going to head back over to the main area though, and I'm just going to farm up some more of those Chickipi while it is still daytime here. Alright, so we have returned back to the base, and as you can see, there's quite a few of these Splatterina eggs. As you notice, there's one that's larger. Whenever you have an alpha pal, if it's, let's say, a small egg, the alpha version will always come in a larger egg. So if you're looking out in the wild and you ever find a small size egg, just know that that small size egg, this lowest level one, is never, ever going to be an alpha. You have to find a larger one. So these small ones will never contain alphas, but these slightly larger ones here will. Looks like our inventory is full. So let me go through and get these all set up. And then also, we went through and captured quite a few. The Chickipi, I want to say just around 20. So as you can see, we got 18, 20, maybe closer to 30. So we should be able to get at least 2-star Chickipi, possibly a 3-star. Alright, so I went through and I hatched all the Splatterina eggs, and we actually got one with a semi-decent setup. let's go through and get the Chickipi here as well. I also realized on my Chickipi, the one that I was using actually had muscle head on it, meaning that the work speed was minus 30%. So that was part of the reason I was getting bottlenecked. I did not pay attention to the passives that it had. It was just one of the first Chickipi I had captured here. It was actually this one here. Now you can notice also when you're condensing, this one already has a 1 star. This is the one that I was using. But if you're using a pal that's already condensed as condensing fuel, it will actually pass on every one you invested into it. So you're not going to waste anything. So for example, this one would give me 8. But if you check this one out, it's actually going to give me a lot more than that because I already had invested certain ones into that Chickipi there. So now I'm actually just going to be 9 short from the next level. But having not only a not minus 30%, but a plus 30% in work speed here, and being a 2nd star, I'm sure eggs are going to be a lot less of an issue here. So we'll go through and place this Chickipi back here in our base, and then we'll just go to the monitoring stand and we'll basically tell him to only work in the ranch here. All right, now this was the best one that I found so far. This one's actually got Fine Furs, Work Slave, and Serious, so it's really going to be good for the base here, and then also decent for selling things. I did not get Noble on this one, but I did get a second one that's Fine Furs and Noble, so they're both male and female. I'm going to keep the 2 of these 2. That way I can just use this one to actually sell everything, and then I'll primarily just use this one around the base and for butchering any pals. So we're going to be going through and condensing this one here, and I'm just going to actually, if I can go into here and favorite it, I cannot. So we'll just make sure we keep that one. We're going to work our way all the way around to that one. That way we don't accidentally condense the wrong one here. And it looks like we should get pretty high. Maybe we might even get a 3-star Splatterina. That would be huge for the amount of resources that we could get. If we don't get 3 stars, I may just raid a couple more just so we can get 3 stars. Okay, we'll definitely make it. And there we are. It's going to be a 3-star Splatterina. We're going to get a whole bunch of rewards here once we butcher everything. All right, so now what we're going to go through and do is we're actually going to go through, and if we go to Alpha Pals here, and we click the sort option, you'll notice that we have this huge long list of Alpha Pals, and it's going to put them all here at the front. Now what we're going to do is we're going to butcher every single Alpha Pal and every single Lucky Pal, with the exception of a few. And then I'm going to go through and actually butcher all of the remaining Anubis that we have as well. All the ones that we're not going to use, we actually have, I think it's going to be, here's going to be our best one so far is Demon God and Ferocious. I'm going to keep one other Anubis that's got similar passives, and it's going to be a male variant, so I can continue breeding his line down later on. But we're going to butcher all of these because they actually have the potential to go through and drop skill books to give us technology points, and they drop medium pal souls. So we're going to butcher both of these guys here as well. And then we're also going to butcher the Mimog here to go through and to get more dog coins, because we're going to need that to actually unlock our 4th accessory here. So I'm going to go through and do that, and I'll bring you back. I'm going to put everything away so my inventory is completely empty. And then I'm going to show you everything that we get once we're done butchering everything. All right, now I'm back. It's about 10 to 15 minutes, as it's taken quite a while to actually butcher all of these by hand. But essentially, I wanted to kind of show you the process. All you're really doing is you're taking all of the pals, and you can add them to your party here, and then just keep Splatterina in your possession, and then you're going to throw out a pal, and then go through and select the radio wheel and select to butcher them. And that's pretty much all I've been doing. One at a time. It'll take 2 swings here, rinse and repeat, throw the next one out, butcher, and we move on. I've actually got so many items in my inventory that I've actually become encumbered because of how many drops we've got. There's one thing I do want to mention, 2 things actually. One, the Anubis actually drops large pal souls and not medium, so that's a mistake on my part. And then 2, I forgot that Mimog does not drop dog coins when butchered or when killed, only when captured. So we actually only got coins and training manuals from the Mimogs. We did not get any coins. My goodness, that ranch is so full. So here's everything we've got by butchering pretty much everything that we went through and selected. So 184 Angel Civilization parts, quite a few items here that we could go through and sell for money, 21 large souls. We did not sadly get any of the skill books from Anubis, so we're just going to keep a couple of them, and we could breed them for a farm later on, because they definitely help out with the large souls and the skill books. That's basically the main reason you keep Anubis. He's great in your base, but he's also really good for being able to give you the large souls as well. We've got lots of items here to sell for a lot of money, and a lot of food. So let's go through and get the food put away. That way it doesn't expire, and then see how many of those potions we can actually craft up, and then we'll go through and sell all of our stuff too, see just how much money we could get. Alright, so first up, let's take a look at the potions here, and when it comes to this, we need the Gumas leaf. We sadly do not have enough Gumas. This one, though, we actually have enough to make 1 new stamina potion, so we'll do through and do that. And then over to the next item here, this is going to be for work speed, which is not going to benefit anything but the player, which we're not going to do too often, but we can actually craft 2 of these. So we're going to go through and select max, and then we'll go through and do this here as well. Now, while they're doing that, what we're going to do also is we're going to make one giant trip. So here's all the items that we got. If we look in here, we managed to get 20 dragon stones. We already had 32 saved up. We've got a lot, quite a few. We almost are mirroring what we already had in here for some of the items. So we're just going to grab everything that we have in here. These are all like the super valuable items here. And we'll put away our accessories. I don't know if we had these rings yet. So this was a ring of ice resistance. We did not have that. And then a water reduction ring. We did not have that either. So I've got all of these lined up here. And then what we'll do, we've got 1,845 gold. Let's deposit that. Let's see, I think that's actually in the guild chest here. And then we're going to head over with our Splatterina and see just how much money we get for selling all these items here. Alright, so we actually had enough to craft 3 of these. We're shy on lotuses to craft any more. So going in here now, we should be able to go through and boost our stamina here and our work speed. And then the same thing here for our attack. So as you can see, just by going through and butchering these food pals and then collecting the lotuses while we ran the dungeons, we went through and effectively just increased our overall player stats as well. Alright, so we are over at the village here, and we're going to talk to our merchant friend, and we're going to sell. And we're going to go through and just sell all of the jewelry here. So we're just going to select this. As you can see, we've made $370,000. Because we have all of the items that we acquired just by running random things and capturing pals. We then got more by butchering them, and then we got an 8% increase as well due to having the Splatterina here with us. So we had 40,000 back at the base, and we just went through and effectively got 10 times, nearly 10 times as much money here, or 9 times as much. Now while we're here, there's actually a few things that we could do. I haven't been here in quite some time, so let's go through and talk to this guy. We'll probably get some rewards from him. Life Fruit, Ancient Tech Manuals. This is basically for defeating all of the Alpha Pals. Okay, so we need 50 to get the next reward. We're going to go through and keep that. We'll talk about that book here in just a minute. And then we're going to head up here and talk to this guy for just capturing different types of pals. And let's see what he has to say here. 50 species. We got a medicine book, a future book, planting technique, treasure map. We haven't done treasure maps yet. We'll talk about those later. 100 species. Oh, wow. I think that was everything. So this guy's quest is now complete. So we've actually finished him, but we do need to come back for the other guy for the alphas. But look here. As you can see, we went through and got a life fruit. If you use it, for example, it's just going to increase the pal's overall health. We can't see the IVs, so we're not going to use it. We're going to save these until we get the glasses. The glasses I'm referring to are these glasses up here, which is going to be the ability glasses. We can't craft those, so we get Ancient Civilization cores, which you could primarily get from a higher tier expedition or from doing raids. So we're going to hold off on using that. Now we did also go through and get these for skill points. We'll bring those back. Now these are going to go through and increase any pal's work suitability. So in this case, for example, Splatterina has level 4 in handiwork and level 2 in transporting, 3 in medicine, and 1 in lumbering. So now if you were to look at this one here, it tells you it's going to allow a pal to read it permanently to increase their gathering affinity by 1. So whatever pal has gathering, you can go through and use this. It's going to increase its level by 1. Same thing here goes for medicine. So if we want to really up Splatterina's medicine, we could do that. And then we have one here for planting as well, and then one for lumbering. And then the kinship peach will basically just go through and increase their trust here. I believe that's what it was. Yeah. It should increase their trust. And then we do have a treasure map, which we will go through and hunt down and use probably in the next episode. But let's just head back to the base and get all of our gear again. Alright, now we are back at the base here, and I've got everything put away. I think this is probably a great place to go through and to wrap up, because what I'm thinking I want to do in the next episode is actually head over to the desert. We go through and farm the dungeons, and ultimately I want to get prepared to fight Marcus and Phalaris. And Phalaris is a water-type pal, and so what I'm thinking is we'll breed Anubis. This here is the Anubis with the Demon God and the Ferocious, the one that we used in the last boss fight. So he's already got the passives. We don't need to breed for good passives. We already have the good passives. And we're going to breed Anubis with Suzoku, this fire-type pal up here. Sadly, they are both female, and I do not have the item to change the gender of either one of them. So you can go through and find a lot more of these in the desert. So we're going to head to the desert because we haven't been there really before. We can go through and explore, get chests, get better loot, and get the breeding pair, because the two of those are going to make Yormantide. And Yormantide is not only going to be a better watering pal for our base here, they're going to be a great watering pal to take down Phalaris. And then Yormantide will breed into Yormantide Ignis, which will be a great fire-type pal to help breed the cakes. And Yormantide Ignis is a great pal to actually use during your first raid, because he's really powerful in general, has a pretty high attack, and will actually burn them as well. So I'm thinking we're going to kind of follow that breeding line down just to help us with all of the future content. So with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Hope you enjoy the revamp here of the base. If you did, then please consider leaving a like and subscribing to see more. I will see you all later.